Oh God, I'm streaming.
Oh God.
Streaming down my leg.
I'm feeling lightheaded.
What is streaming? The YouTube. It's running down my leg. It's filling up my shoes. Oh no.
Sounds like an American dad thing.
Nothing worse than a full pair of YouTube
This joke is
shoes.
not off the rails.
Oh, have you met me?
Who are you again?
It's a tasty jam.
Boo.
It says live, but then we're not live. You see,
We're live.
I've continued to refresh our live page, and I have not seen liveness happen.
We're set
I
to
can
public.
see it. Yeah, we're live now. I can see it.
There
It
it is.
wasn't saying live before. But it is meow.
For a good minute of us wondering whether we're live or not. It's good. It's good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm going to be trying some mango mule.
Fancy.
That just sounds delicious.
Try off the New Year.
What is it?
It's that's the French side. Mango and ginger with vodka, 7%.
All right.
Sounds like a good time.
Yes, that passes the taste test for sure. Yeah, I'll be buying that again.
Good stuff.
I've been told that I may or may not have habits that like refuse to die, like liking gray knives and 3 types of vanilla ice cream in consequential order. But
Do you how mango-y is that drink?
no, mildly mango. The ginger really milds it out. It's not too poppy. What were you gonna say?
Like 3 vanilla ice cubes in the same bowl at the same time?
No. You can't be doing that. But
I was gonna say that is the most pedantic thing I've ever heard in my time.
the level of importance when it comes to the vanillas. It's and don't even start with your vanilla bean. That shit is gross. Anyway.
The man has opinions on the different vanillas out there. My goodness.
So I've been told that it doesn't hurt to try new things.
That's a lie.
I've been getting fruity over the holiday season, and it's worked out so far.
The holiday.
Someone's hollering. I
Out
guarantee
in
it.
the holla.
The holiday.
Yeah.
Happy holiday. Sorry.
We heard people holler. It happened. It's
All
not an untrue thing.
day long.
So, Dick Richards, thanks for joining us.
Cheers. I may have let the proverbial cat out of the bag with Mr. Fisk.
Well, you can let many cats out of the bag. It just distracts Fisk, so it's fine. Just,
Kitty.
He's like, what were we talking about again? There was a bag.
No,
I thought I was getting sandwiches, and a cat just jumped out.
I was asking him last week, or this week, about if he was around when the cat was on screen, and he immediately was like, 12 questions about the cat.
So you let the actual cat out of
the literal cat out of the bag.
Literally.
I see.
I like that.
Black Frost, glad you could join us. Keep your eyes on the road, dude. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah.
Yeah. Shit. All right.
Yeah, good times. Good times.
What are y'all carrying?
Yeah.
Dick Richards, Black Frost. Anybody else that's lurking in the shadows?
What the hell are you carrying, Paul?
I mean, I'm carrying a thing.
He's going to make you jump into it.
I kind of want to talk about the thing because it's cool shit.
This thing?
Yeah, that thing that I told
Oh.
I have a picture of. Yeah.
I see.
So yeah, this is my character of the week.
You're not even like delaying a week or two, building up suspense about having it, getting a good pitch. You're just like, bam, this is it.
Immediate.
Yeah, okay.
Anything can happen.
That's an okay picture too. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I was losing the light. It was a losing battle.
The white handle is kind of, but
Yeah.
it's winter time.
So it's a Kyber dagger, same brand as the other Kyber K-bar dagger that I got. It's, as far as I've seen, and I might be wrong, I know there was other Kyber knives we found when we spoke about Kyber stuff. But I think these were the only two daggers, and they're pretty neat. And this one in particular has really, really cool looking pins in it.
So what you're saying is now you own them both, correct?
Yes, it was a thing that needed to happen. Shout out to my boy that helped me out with that one. He did the legwork, and now I have the matching pair. And I don't know why, but those flower pins just put a smile on my face.
It's pretty neat.
Because you're a pansy. Sorry. It's all right.
All right.
That's not the worst pun they've ever made, but it still hurts me deeply.
So yeah, this is it's ridiculous. It's a 5-inch blade.
Yeah, it's not a super tiny small knife.
It's bigger than I thought it was going to be. I mean,
Yeah,
there's been a
So-
theme this year of that type of stuff where it's,
yeah, it's a lot, but it's pretty awesome. It's part 2 of the Italian bushcraft. So
Oh, I see. You needed a small knife, big knife combo.
yeah, I need something to baton with,
Yeah, to whack against your other knife, right?
obviously.
It's god awful.
Indeed.
Not that knife though. That knife's pretty.
But yeah, it came in basically identical condition to the other one that I have. Brand new, like new old stock. Leather's in great condition, no cracking or anything like that. Has probably the best setup I've ever had on a sheath as far as like popping the snap. It's got a second rivet with a metal plate.
Yeah.
So you just push it and it pops out of the way rather than just bend like just a piece of leather often does without like actually grabbing and pulling.
It's a nice touch, and not something I see done too often.
The only company that I know that does it right now, like off the top of my head, is Smith & Wesson.
I was just gonna say, and some of their cheaper daggers, I think, still utilize that.
Yeah, it's something that they would have done on like old leather holsters back in the day and stuff like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
And I couldn't think of a company that I knew of that did anything like that. So yeah.
yeah, no, it's something that more companies need to like catch up on because it's superior.
Leather sheaths, man. I wish we'd see more people do more high quality leather sheaths.
Yeah,
Kydex is great, don't get me wrong, and it may in fact be my preference, but there's room on the market for a nice leather sheath.
absolutely. I just need to figure out a way to hip carry it where it's not digging into me.
It's kind of high, hey.
I'm gonna have to scout carry it.
I mean, you got the snap, I guess, but
I'm going to have to set a like knife maximum that you can carry in the store with you sons of bitches. Like seriously.
I'm genuinely.
And I'll have a sign. I guarantee that my employees are carrying no more than 5 knives at any point in time. Like it's
yeah.
No, the idea of carrying scout isn't not appealing. It's not my thing.
so I'll go next.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I'm doubling down. Not with the same picture because I'm not lazy like Joe, but I'm carrying my wee knife thug again. It's
Yeah.
been the last couple of weeks been getting used to it, and I'm enjoying it. So Yeah, Infinite. Thanks for joining us as well. It's got good poppy, by the way.
That detent hasn't softened up at all, has it?
Don't worry about it. It's perfect. It's just the way I like it.
Yeah.
Pinning righties and being able to pop for lefties. It's fantastic. But
Just how you want it.
yeah, pretty much. Now, I will say, spoiler alert, this episode is about our own personal collection and things that are on the top two and things that are not on the top two or on the low two of the things you're kind of disappointed about out of our own personal collections type of thing. Spoiler alert right now, it didn't make top two purchases for this year. So
Shocker.
it was a heavy contender. Holy God. And heavy, I mean, weighty ounces. It's a little tank.
Is it because it's so new, it doesn't have like the time with you to make that decision, or?
There's still very much a honeymoon phase is a factor, but we'll get into that as well. So
Fair enough.
That's fair. It's a good looking knife though.
Yeah, it's not bad looking. The can't quite see it as much on this side, but the snail trailing seems to be blending together a little bit better now that there's more of them.
no, yeah, this thing, let me tell you, even just sliding in and out of denim, I don't know what this knife is even scratching on other than like the hem of the pants and stuff like that type of thing. But yeah, it snail trails to high hell when it's not a pure stonewash. I've never had a titanium get marked like that, but I think it's just because of that very distinct scoring that anything turns up on it.
You're going to see everything that turns off from the same direction.
Yeah. So much more noticeable than an even finish.
Yeah.
Think about like even if you're sanding a handle yourself, you'll sand in one direction, and then if you switch papers, you might start sanding in the opposite direction, just so you can see those scratches as you're making them disappear, right?
Yeah.
They show up so well like that.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah. So it's out of any of the contenders, the Wee Knife Thug, although great and second week in a row, which I rarely do for the show. Yeah, had to. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Solid pick.
What about you, Gustav?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess that leaves me. I'm pretty sure I'm also repeating this week, but it's the Isotope still. The thing's just way too much fun. And if I'm being honest, it hasn't really left my pocket for all that long. Yeah, definitely still a bit of a honeymoon phase here.
The blade on your knife in this photo actually looks like it's rendered.
Yeah, the shading came out a little strange.
It's awesome.
See if I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure what my camera did here. But it did a thing, for sure.
I'm into it.
All right, you can just photo generate expensive knives. We're dreaming to have them. We understand. Yeah.
I don't actually own them. I did advanced
Joe's
video
knife
editing.
collection is like my apartment, non-existent.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that his actual Sebenza dissolved 2.5 years ago, so
Had to get the whole thing made out of H1 in order to keep it from rusting.
I had just taken a sip of mead.
Oh, I timed that strategically, my friend. Yeah.
The thing's almost got sticky.
Nice.
Straight up sticky.
Well,
All
you know,
right.
usually you need a nap after that, but
You know,
you gotta stay awake for another hour. Come on.
we'll see about that. We'll see how far we get.
Like, if I just kind of sat here like this and just stopped talking for a minute, you don't know.
I think Paul froze.
Oh, look at that. He's reconnecting. Yeah. Well, like Dennis was saying,
Reach
highs-
up slowly. Unplug your camera.
So yeah, the highs and lows of our collections, the additions of 2021. Because if we were to do our entire collections, it wouldn't be much of an end of year video, and there would be too many to choose from. So I'm glad we had a bit of a limit.
Joe, you want to kick out a spammer there?
Yeah, why not?
Thanks.
It's not even things.
Those aren't even things.
So what are the rules? How are we doing this? Best, worst?
Okay, so my vote was probably worst and leave on a high note.
Okay.
And I was thinking runner up be the first thing we talk about, and then the winner of whatever category it may be go second in that topic. So we can all talk about our runner-ups, and then we can all go through who actually got the.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
And then for the high points, we can do the same thing and run runner-ups, and then say who won of the high notes on this year, and yeah, go from there.
Indeed.
I was deep in sub menus, kicking people out, so I'll let one of you guys go first, and I'll follow along.
Oh, that's some garbage right there. I'll go first. Sure. So, Joe, the first email that I sent you, right, it'd be you know what both of them are at this point, but the fixed bladed version is the
yes.
one that, yeah. So this one here, I don't know what happened this year. I still like it. And I'm still not disappointed with my purchase, right? And the knife, anytime Joe wants to throw it up, is the Boker Nesme Pro. Is it the Pro? I don't even know if it's a Pro. I think it might just be a Nesme.
I think it's the Nesme. I think the Pro was like some upgraded.
The copper shredded one?
Yeah.
So, don't get me wrong, I carry it from time to time.
Happy New Year, Ben. Sorry.
Yes. Evening, Ben. What are you drinking? What are you carrying? We went through the round robin already. We're showing the highs and lows. This guy, the low, the Nestle Pro, I like it. It's super small. I expected it to be as small as it was. That wasn't a shocker to me. I like the knife, but it went honeymoon phase to nothing pretty quick. And it was just another knife in the collection. It wasn't expensive. Like all things considered. So, and I do enjoy it. With the couple times I have carried it over the last week or so while we've been thinking about this next topic or whatever type of thing. I was like, oh yeah, I totally see it. Maybe a Kydex sheath, maybe a better carry system, because with a knife this small, it would be nice to even just be able to throw it right in the pocket with a Kydex sheath instead of having cumbersome leather, even snipping the belt loop off and making a lanyard hole like that type of thing with a snap or something around it. I don't know. I wanted to like it so bad. And I do, but
I might neck knife something like that. Just do the belt loop.
Yeah, you're a monster. But so yeah, it's not disappointing, but it never really got time of day, and the Viper Bearuses are still getting carried way more and things like that on an EDC level, right? So yeah, I don't know. Thoughts, feelings?
D2?
D2. Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't really touch up the edge. Boker had an okay edge. The one side is kind of lopsided a little bit, but the sharpness was okay, so I figured I'd get some use out of it, and then when it started to slow down, I would even out that bevel a little bit. So yeah. Burlap micarta, yeah. It's
compared to your things like your Beirut.
It's got a lot of things that normally kind of turn your crank, so I'm surprised it doesn't do it for you.
Okay, so these are the things that we had to pick out of what we bought this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't know. I made some good purchases this year as far as the highlights and the lowlights.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I'm not going to shit on you because my selection for worst knife, or runner-up, so to speak, is kind of in the same vein.
Ultimately, these are knives that we spent money on, and we all tend to do a decent amount of research on stuff before we pick it up. like we usually have a pretty good idea. Like, yeah, I'll enjoy this
Yeah,
before we even think about ordering.
Even my biggest disappointment, I'm still happy with that purchase. But compared to the things that really tickle me, compared to the things that are like, me. But this just became one of those, right? And it just became a D2 little fixed blade. Wish it had a slightly better sheath, and I'd probably carry it a little more often, right? So,
Right.
Yeah, no, I think with a Kydex sheath as a neck knife, it would be perfect.
Right size, yeah.
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 I could see a good argument for that, for sure.
Some of my favorite neck knives are D2. It's a nice steel that's super fast to resharpen when you need to.
So, yeah. Anyway,
Comparatively.
It didn't get out of it the honeymoon phase. It was a wild and fast party for that honeymoon, and then you just realized you weren't that happy with your decision. No,
I'm just not that into you. Yep.
Was it a spike, or was it just kind of like, yeah, that was good, and then?
Yeah, it was more like that, the latter, for sure. Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, that's nice, cool. I'm glad I got to play with one of those, whatever type of thing. But
yeah, now you go over here. I'm going to carry this.
And even, yeah, like I said, either getting a new sheath for it or maybe passing it on or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fair. Yeah, I was going to ask a question that's not really terribly important to this conversation, so I'm not going to ask it.
All right. Keep this gravy train rolling.
It was the name of another knife in his collection.
I see. What's the now, Paul, you sent me all your photos together here.
Yeah, I sure did. Like an asshole.
So
I don't remember which order I sent them in.
Is the well, okay, what's the handle color? That'll tell me.
Brown.
Okay, I'll get that one ready if you want to talk them in.
Okay.
Or
so,
I could just pop it up if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, just pop it up, and as you pop it up, I'll start talking about it.
I think that's the better way to do it, is prompt with the picture.
Yeah.
Well, bam. That's actually kind of surprising for me, but all right.
So, the Civivi Appalachian Drifter. It is a sweet little knife.
Mm-hmm.
All three of us have one.
In diddly.
And there's a lot of things to like about this knife. Things that I already like in a knife from Civivi. And ultimately, the thing that really kind of caught me with this is, at the end of the day, I would rather carry this. I'd rather carry the back lock, open it with two hands. I don't know why. I just like this better. And part of it is, like, I really like the action. The action's really nice, almost too nice sometimes, because the blade will bounce out as you're trying to close it. And I think that's what did it for me, was I had a very specific action in mind, and it didn't fulfill that thought. But
yeah,
fantastic knife. Yeah. The Appalachian Drifter is definitely one of those ones that as soon as we got the action and the bounce out factor on the closing. Having said that, I was looking at all of my stuff this year and going through it. So I picked that one up as well, and I played with that one and was looking at a handful of different things throughout. And the one thing I'll say is, over the last, 2, 3, even the course of a week, I have actually, like Joe was saying, get the pressure kind of a little more figured out, a little more dialed in. That I was like, oh yeah, I can more often than not get it to do the proper close. Yeah. But just like you did there, yeah, there's times where it just wants to bounce.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I mean, you picked the wrong color for it. This one looks red. I want your picture instead of your actual one. So
you know what? Honestly, it just needs to be oiled. When it's
I know.
nicely, freshly oiled, it looks pretty nice.
you guys keep saying that, but I think the Civivi brown, and don't get me wrong, I like other of the brown natural micartas and whatever, but I just think the Civivi one for some reason is just a little off for me. It doesn't do it as much as other browns out there.
I prefer the QSP brown over this, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I was expecting them to be more similar, and they're not.
I think I'd
But
agree
it's
with
also
that, yeah.
G10 versus micarta, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But again, fantastic knife, S35. I tried to get a picture of the scratch marks on the blade. They appear to not be there anymore. The very first time I used this knife to cut cardboard, it left like streaky marks up the whole side of the blade, and it really kind of pissed me off, if I'm being honest, because it was like the first cut.
So
They're not there anymore. They were like phantom.
Ben is asking, Drifter or Gent, and you already kind of dabbled on, you would take the Gent over, even though it's D2 versus S35. Joe has a Gent and a Drifter as well. I'm the only one that doesn't actually have a Gent. You got Damascus. You got the gross stuff on both your blades.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I sure did. And two flavors of gross too.
And
One
be
reflective
honest.
gross, one not.
I'm probably going to buy an Appalachian Drifter too with the liner lock.
With the lighter lock.
Absolutely. 'Cause I love this, this.
And now you might as well round it out because you got two of them. You might as well get the third and call her a day. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also,
Yeah.
I love this profile. So why would I not own a knife that's this, but easier to use? Let's be honest. I do. I have one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to notice a theme in most of my pictures today. There's snow. There's a silver dollar that got frozen to a green bench. Apparently, silver conducts heat pretty well.
Yeah. You don't say. Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, ultimately, I like the knife. I don't think that I would get rid of it. But I might put the pocket clip back on it and see if I can just carry it as like a pocket knife with the Drifter riding shotgun.
See, and I bought mine for the fidget factor, so going to a liner lock just wouldn't do the same thing for me, I don't think. But I could respect the desire to go to a liner.
Oh, I need to do a thing.
Oh,
What the hell, man? Oh, to keep the stream going, you need to plug it in or you're going to die?
Absolutely.
All
yeah,
right, I'll give it to you.
that's pretty much allowed.
It's the only that this time. You get one. Next time we're just gonna be like, 7%, deal with it, fucker.
Whatever you say, Spider-Man.
Oh,
Everyone gets one.
So yeah, I think we all understand where you're coming from on this little Appalachian Drifter.
yeah. I definitely get the bounce back issue. Yeah.
If it was like I have genuinely thought about taking it apart and bending the springs to the detents and strengthening them to see if that might fix the problem. But haven't as of yet.
I don't know. I also want to do a deep clean on it, and I think maybe the fall can be a little more gentle, and it'll click rather than having to be thrown down.
Maybe flushing it with WD-40 and then just a little bit of mineral oil would help.
I'm not sure. But yes, like I said,
I think
it's
actually a mineral oil, something that's a little bit thicker, might actually be a benefit in this knife rather than the super thin KPL or Lulu or anything else like that.
I've got some mineral oil here. I might try that on mine after the stream and then report back because
let me know.
Yeah, I am interested.
Dude, if I got to get some lithium grease, I'm not above
it. Not above it. All right.
I'll buy myself a Zabenza just for a little tube of grease.
Yeah, because
make sure you don't use the Loctite one.
Making me more sad one day at a time. Eh? It's just
Hey man, they look the same, okay?
Oh,
Again,
do they?
have you met me? Come on. Soon.
truly god awful. Truly god awful.
So I find with this knife, it's a balance of impeding the movement with your finger, but only so much. If you impede it too much, you'll stop it completely. If you don't impede it enough, it'll bounce.
Oh, as far as getting that guy to bounce
Yeah.
closed properly.
Yeah.
Like I need to almost catch it on
Like-
the inside of my finger here.
Yeah, for me, it's being able to press it with the right amount of pressure at the right spot on the spine. I find halfway up gives me the best rate of success, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
like
always.
Right at the clip almost.
Just before. Yeah, for sure. I think we're all in agreement because we're a bunch of nerds on
Yes.
that one. So,
Pretty much.
yes. And once you get that kind of technique, then yes, but that's a lot of work compared to, we were talking about like the 230s or the 235s from ZT
Yeah.
and how crisp those ones are, right?
Which is making me think it might just be a torsion, or not a torsion, but a pressure issue, like Paul was saying. That might be the only reason. But
I'll let you break yours before I go
was
ahead
saying,
and
that was
do.
motivation enough to see if I can break mine.
yeah,
I mean,
fair enough.
how little pressure are we talking here?
I don't even.
I don't know. Why don't you just take it apart right now and give it a bend?
No.
I'm sure we'll have a
I've learned that
disassembly.
I always drop something.
We'll have a disassembly stream, a dedicated one at one point, I'm sure.
I'll
But
take a fourth person camera and get in the Zoom chat and just put it down in the fourth corner as Joe's disassembling something and we can all talk about it. That would actually be
You're doing
somewhat
it
interesting.
I've actually, I've got a decent webcam. I wouldn't mind testing. We'll talk about that later. But that could actually be a lot of fun.
I thought about doing that too. And getting actually on my computer instead of being on my phone here.
Could be good. Anyhow, here I've let's go to my pick here. I picked.
Good segue.
Yeah, I could think of a more graceful way to do that. Fuck your thing. We're talking about my thing now.
Yeah, okay. Are we done with yours? I'm going to talk about mine for a while. You and your Appalachian Drifter.
Well, it's not my Appalachian Drifter, although that was a consideration for runner-up, honestly, because of that, for a very similar issue. But I do have one knife that kind of beat it out. It's a knife that I don't carry as much as I should. It's the Holdout, specifically the Mini, that was recently re-released by Cold Steel.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Not a big enough knife, huh?
Yeah, fuck, hold on. Yeah, no, it certainly doesn't quite measure up to its big brother, but that's okay. No.
He's become more Italian in the last year, and now he needs a real dagger instead of one of these Scottish one-sided ones.
Pretty much. My tie light 6 inches in the other room. I don't have it on hand to wave up, but that's okay.
So I'm gonna be honest. So far, I have been like, I want that knife for both Jones and Dennis's.
Fair enough.
Let me second guess my options here.
No. Okay, I'm not saying that this is a bad knife. I'm not saying that this isn't a knife that you should want. In many ways, this would actually be for a very strong backlock for how thin it is, for the materials used. I think this is one of the best purchasing decisions you could make for your dollar if you're all about utility. I think it's a better buy than the standard Spyderco Native, for instance. The reason,
Yeah, I agree. For a similar price point, I'd
Yeah.
take a Holdout probably before I took an S30 Native.
yes,
Not one of these highfalutin
No,
natives.
not talking about the fancy boy, but if we're talking about the S30 for the same size factor, for the same overall length, same cutting edge, just about.
They're surprisingly similar for not looking at all alike.
Yeah, I know, they're stupid similar. Like they're yeah, there's a reason why I really like both. But when it comes down to it, when I want to carry a backlock with a blade this size, with this kind of thinness behind the edge, and I haven't measured with my calipers, but I think this is just about as thin, if not thinner. again, mostly out of curiosity than anything, because I literally cannot tell a difference in the actual cutting performance between these two knives. This one just stays sharper way longer, and it's carbon fiber, so it's prettier. It gets carried more often. Two things. The first is that on a more realistic level, there's a tiny bit of back and forth, a vertical movement on this guy, which is something that I don't have in, I think, any of my other triad locks. So that's a little disappointing. Not that I really care. I don't think this lock is going to fail anytime soon. It's a triad lock, even if it is moving a little. Sorry, Paul, go for it.
Based on the way that the triad lock works, shouldn't there be a way to adjust it so that it seats better?
It should automatically wear in. Like in the original triad lock patent, there's actually this big allocation for material wear. Eventually, it starts high. It's supposed to very slowly wear in. You need that wear space because there's a pin instead of like this little space is taken up by a.
Have you done a disassembly on it?
No, that's the one thing I haven't done yet. But I know that there's nothing physically in the way. So the only reason why there would be movement is either because this arm bar, this locking bar, isn't going down deeply enough into the channel, or the pin is undersized.
Have you tried putting a drop of lube on the back of the bar?
Yes, I have tried that. Now that being said, again, it's nothing that I notice in use. It's like when I press really hard with my thumb, I can feel it shift a little bit in my grip, but nothing substantial. Point being, it hasn't stopped me from carrying the knife, but it does have a flaw, which is why it was just disappointing in that way. But kind of like Denison is fixed blade, and I'm the Nesme, yeah.
Yeah.
I just haven't carried this thing, which is a damn shame because it's such a good knife compared to a lot of the other crap I choose to carry, just from a utility standpoint.
Have you ever worked with Mother of Pearl, Joe?
It's been a minute, but yeah.
Okay. Just because that thing would look really pretty if you filled those holes with Mother of Pearl.
Nah, fuck that noise. It would look pretty, but getting it to stay there? Yeah.
Just press it really hard.
G10's malleable. Come on, it just forms to your hand over time.
Oh god. Okay. That's a fucking throwback. Anyway,
Sorry guys. Too funny not to say.
No, it was funny, but it also hurts.
Think about how pretty that would look with Mother of Pearl in there, bro.
You know what? If they did because you know what that makes me think of, obviously, is the freaking Sun and Moon Chaparral, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they did that with this, yeah, that'd be pretty hot. That'd be pretty hot.
I'm just saying.
Oh, and the pocket clip does land.
Would epoxy hold Mother of Pearl in?
It would, but you run into a number of different issues, right? Bonding in colder temperatures could change because material's going to shrink and grow. You can get epoxies that are specially formulated so that they will grow and shrink at similar rates to other materials.
Yeah.
But
so you just store your knife in a humidor. It's fine. That's obviously the solution.
Yeah, of course. No, see, what I'd want to do is the way that CRK or Chris Reeve does inlays, where they mill out a channel, put down A3, not A35, A3M, yeah, 3M automotive tape, and just press it into the channel. I'd actually much prefer that. That would just stick, yeah. But anyway,
Forever.
this knife, which isn't a hypothetical, it does exist.
Yeah.
It's
a nice knife.
Yeah, and aluminum backspacer. Benchmade. You can use aluminum for backspacers instead of plastic. Come on. Oh, sorry.
Benchmade. Let's rag on Spyderco.
Yeah, them too, but they usually use G10 or steel, depending.
Sleesh Bowie, baby. Sleesh Bowie. First and second time.
Yeah.
Nothing but plastic.
What's the backspacer on the 220?
It's G10.
I was going to say it's G10. Hold on a second.
Yeah. What's that?
The 220, ZT220. Isn't that plastic?
Oh, no.
Yeah. No, that new... is it the 220? That's the black one. The 990.
The 990, the new one. No, I'm talking about the old ZT220. Isn't it it's an Anzo design, I want to say?
The orange. It's
Yeah.
orange aluminum, I believe.
Is it
It's
orange
not
aluminum?
yeah.
Yeah, it is aluminum. Even the black
Mine's
one, I
black,
believe, was
sorry.
the black is DLC'd aluminum. I think though.
Okay,
Yes.
well then, do it like ZT. Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like CT.
do it like
There's few and far between opportunities that you could say do it like ZT.
and I'm gonna take every single one of them.
They did it right. Damn it. Asterisk this time. There's a ZT frame lock issue I might bitch about at some point in the future. But anyway, yeah, no, so I'm actually pretty happy overall with most of my purchases, and even for my bottom pick, it's still a knife I dearly love, but
Isn't this the runner-up of your bottom pick?
This is the runner-up.
You can go lower, Joe. You can go lower.
I could always go lower. I don't think either of you would be surprised with my lowest pick, to be honest, but before me, we got to cycle back to Dennis, because I think I've said all I really want to about the Holdout. It's a cool as hell knife. I really like it. I just wish I could justify carrying it more often. Yeah.
ZT makes wonderful frame lock slip joints.
Fisk, cheers. Welcome to the show. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yep.
Hey man,
They were still better than Hinderer's old lockups. The Hinderer's ET lockups is what I'm referring to. But yeah.
Fair enough. I thought you were talking about like actual hinderers.
I've never spine whacked my ZTs, but most of my ZTs, if not all of my ZTs, lock up pretty well.
I'm not too proud to admit that I've actually tried spine whacking a good number of them, if not most of them. Mostly because people said, "Oh, it won't survive it." I'm like, okay, let's see.
So yeah, the whole mini holo's not bad. Like you said, utilitarian. It's still a knife I'd probably recommend. But yeah, it gets blended in the crowd, and I think that's where the Nesme Pro happened too. Is it just ended up getting blended into the crowd, and it doesn't deserve to be. But yeah.
If they made this in a neck knife version in S35,
I was just gonna say they make one, but it's Oz 8. It's in my drawer over there, and it also doesn't get carried for similar reasons.
if they made this in S35, or they could probably catch me with SK5, quite honestly, because I'm.
How'd you feel about Oz 10
Yeah.
I'll take it.
in a neck knife? I think that'd be a good choice.
Yeah. Like
Anyway.
I said, I like D2. I have some fancy things. And don't get me wrong, I like S90 because it's S90. But
Yeah.
D2, the number of times where I've been like, oh, my knife's gone dull. And I'm back to work the next day with it nice and sharp. And it took me no time at all to be able to do that.
And
Right.
Fisk's comment about watching every other knife video on YouTube. If you have not watched it, Icy Potato, if they're still up,
If they're still up.
yeah. You haven't watched them all if you haven't watched Icy Potato.
Legendary, my friends.
Anyway,
God.
so
I was gonna say I don't want to become one of those YouTube channels that just bitches about other YouTube channels, but holy
they're not even
crap.
relevant anymore. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't even think the channel exists. I got to be honest with you. Anyway,
I
we're
haven't looked recently.
gonna get on to my bottom of the barrel choice this year. Ended up with it. Was like, meh, yeah, okay, I like it. Had a bit of a honeymoon phase.
Were we going to vote on who? Or is
On
that
what?
I don't know. I
Vote
thought
on-
we were voting on something.
Who are you voting?
I don't know.
Off the island.
I thought you were the one that said there was in the rules that we were voting of the 3 second picks and then of the 3 worst. I don't know.
Voting which was the worst out of those 3.
I guess.
Okay, I'll
I
do
thought
it.
that's what
Sure.
I
That
thought
sounds
that's
stupid and fun.
Yeah.
Take credit for it, Paul. Shut up. It was your idea.
genuinely
So-
thought it was yours.
Let me bring my photos back up because I was closing them as we were going.
Sonny.
No,
we
no.
got? We got an Appalachian Drifter, we got a Holdout, and we got an Nesme Pro. What do you
Yeah.
think is the one you take, or the one that is
Nesme.
bottom of the barrel?
The Holdout.
No, I like the idea of the one that you would take.
Appellation.
You could have only one of those three.
Oh, if I could have only one of the three?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's an interesting choice because it's, you guys actually have this knife. So maybe not that because...
I was going to say because I'm just going to vote for my own because I bought it. And I still like it. It's just...
I think it would be the Appalachian Drifter out of all of those.
Yeah.
That's fair. Like I said, I don't think I would get rid of it. But...
And the holdout would just, and it's S35, and it wouldn't, if it was one of the old XHP ones, just because I'd have it and whatever type of thing with the holdout, but it's the S35. And utilitarian, it would be a good, like, day hike knife, just utilitarian. It's got a good point on it for whatever.
So, can I get a kitchen knife in XHP? I would like that.
There was a couple of guys making them, but...
You should make one. It's good. It's good.
There you go.
What would you guys pick?
Well, I mean, when Joe said what he said, it just kind of made sense. Kind of blew a hole in my whole theory here. I bought this knife, so I guess this is the one that I would pick. But, like I said, I have thought heavily about buying both of the knives that you guys both have in this section. So it's kind of making me second guess my purchases.
I will tell you, the only reason I didn't also pick the Appalachian Drifter was because... I like the fancy one. But it's not just that it's fancier, it's I bought this for the fidget factor, so of course I'm going to go for the blingier one with the less good steel. If I was going to be using one of the three knives we showed here, S35 would be my pick, and I like that form factor more, so for me, I would still go with the holdout.
The liner one that I'm getting, the Appalachian 2, will absolutely be in Damascus with the raindrop pattern carbon fiber because
She pretty.
I don't think I need to say anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of, Ben in chat, good. He'd take the Nesme Pro. And everyone else out of those three, what would you pick? I like where your head's at, sir. Finger guns.
If the Nesme had a Kydex sheath, I would have bought one. Because I have neck knife.
And that's even talking about it. That might be the only way that I probably hang on to it is to see if I can get something pressed with Kydex. It's
And let me say too, like any one of these knives, I wouldn't be sad about having. Right? Like if you're like, this is the knife you have for the week, go use it. I'm not going to be complaining all that hard about it.
Take it and go.
The fact that this steel is magic and completely hid any scratch that I put on it, I don't understand.
So, Dick Richards votes the dagger, which wasn't an option. So Fisk votes the cemented 21, that also wasn't an option. Anyone want to take Ben's Adamus that's half serrated as an option? Like while we're throwing shit out there? Sure, why not? Yeah. You guys suck. I love it. I love you all. Happy New Year. Happy 2022 and all of that jazz. But you make it fun, guys. You make it fun.
Absolutely.
So
Locksmith's design. I should have known that.
Yeah, it is.
You might have one of my favorite touch marks in the business.
The bomb.
Well, yeah. We've dabbled on that multiple times, and it is. And I like a lot of box stuff. It's nice, although he pushes handle limits on a regular basis on how small you can go. But
this one needs a lanyard for sure.
No, put a lanyard on yours, and buy the copper shred so we don't have to match. Jesus, that's
okay. Easy that. Does it come with a Kydex sheath?
I don't know. Tell me if it comes with a Kydex sheath. I might contact Boker.
You sons of bitches.
All right, roundabout. The bottom of the barrel for 2021, the low of the low. I guess, middle of the episode, we might as well hit rock bottom. It's for me, right? You're going to pop that bad boy up? It's funny that we're on this theme. I love it so much. It's the other picture in the low points.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm chuckling here.
So the lowest of the low this year for me.
There we go. Yeah,
was an Appalachian Drifter.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I found it suspicious when you both were like, "Yeah, mine's right here."
I have all of my 2021 picks, or a lot of my 2021 picks, set out before me, so we could discuss exactly. But that's more for like the high points on what was contenders and whatnot, right? But dude, this thing, I wanted it to bounce so good, and it does not bounce so good. And I want it to. Like I said, I think I might have to do a deep dive on the cleany action and see, even loosening off the pivot to the point where it's loose already. Shut up. Anyway.
I am going to disassemble mine and try and reset the springs a little bit and see if that works.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That might be the thing to do. So, but this is out of all the shit that you bought this year.
The most. Well, okay, so the most disappointing is that's what I was running off of, was the most disappointing as well as the like most surprised, happiest with. Type of category is kind of how I separated it. So most disappointing, I still like this knife, an S35, and I'm sitting here flicking it as we're talking because it actually has some sweet fidget factor to it, right? But the fact that it bounces out and it doesn't trap itself closed is a killer. It drops it from a 10 out of 10 penguins to, I don't know, like a half a cup of eggnog that someone put way too much nutmeg in. Like,
drinkable, but you're not going to enjoy the second half of that.
Yeah.
So I saw somebody make a cheesecake apparently with eggnog. So we were talking about cake, but apparently you can make a cheesecake. So there you go.
Well,
Also, yuck.
How many Frosties does it involve?
Yes.
I don't know, but there must have been some magic in that hat they found.
In that hat.
That better not be slang for condom.
Anyway, I don't know if we need to dabble on this knife much more than it is. I have the better looking green micarta version, but it's
not that it looks green in this photo at all. But
no, it's definitely kind of blackened out compared to here's some better lighting.
I do agree. So, I think the green is a little bit nicer, fresh out of box.
It looks all right in the light here.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, when it's oiled, it doesn't look half bad either. But
so I don't know if the cat is accessible at any point in time, but Fisk is going to just bitch until you throw a kitten up on the screen. We don't have to right now. Don't save his needs quite that quick. No. Come on.
Save his needs.
I am a kind and loving God. I shall provide a kitten when it is time. Don't you worry. Yeah, I mean, I think we already kind of discussed our one major issue with this knife ad nauseum, so I don't know if we need to dig in it too deeply, but I do find it funny that we talked about it that much. It's like, oh, look, Dennis's pick.
Yeah, sure enough. And even though the Nesme Pro, probably because of the price point investment, the Nesme Pro is, got to be in the $30 to $50 less than an Appalachian is at some point in time type of thing, right? So, yeah. So with the Drifter, there was the one side note that I threw up at you last minute. So if you want to throw that up as well as far as a picture, you were talking about the Appalachian 2 and this being kind of the disappointment for 2021.
Sorry, I didn't get that email till now, so now I'm just rapidly.
No, I know. I just threw it at you like within a couple minutes ago here. It's just a quick side note that kind of made me laugh for 2022. So just side note as well. In the chat, simmer down, boys. Simmer down, Jesus Christ. Some mutual respect went a long way nowadays. It's 2022. Come on. So they announced new Appalachian Drifters 2 coming, I want to say February of 2022, something like that. So you've got twill carbon fiber instead of just the normal G10 versions and micarta versions and Damasteel versions. Now they've got bolstered versions for the Drifter 2. So they're taking some of the Gent.
They had the bolster in the original Drifter 2 as well.
So is it just the new color variations?
The Gent and the micarta handle.
Drifter 2? Fair enough.
The Drifter 2. Yeah.
I didn't think so.
Because the Drifter 2 is the liner lock, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it does, because I thought it had both types of carbon fiber on the one that I was looking at.
I couldn't remember. I could not remember. Kind of cool to see with the Nitro V though, and the purple.
Oh yeah, that's the other. It's Nitro V. Sorry, my mistake. It's not S35, so it's going to be a more budgety version.
I'm into that.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that part
It's all good. It's all good.
because I know. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm into that. I like that.
I didn't think I was gonna end up with a fucking third one of these things. But I guess I'm gonna end up with a purple handled Nitro V. Okay.
so
Go ahead.
What was
yes, it is a twill carbon fiber bolster on the Drifter 2 with marbled carbon fiber. So yeah, it's just new color variations, and Nitro V is the big thing. They're not much cheaper. I got to be honest with you. Like 105 to 127 American dollars. So they're not much of a dip down, but you know, something fun and new to play with. The polished blade, because I do like the hollow grind that the Gent had to offer. So
yeah?
rather than
holy shit.
the stone wash that hides it.
I just want to point out that the Nesme Pro is not in the Kydex sheet.
You had to look it up. Is it
Good
a
to
black
know.
leather? Is it a black leather at least? Or okay, it's at least not a brown leather, because with the copper shred that would look weird.
It's copper shredded, and it's almost like a purple color. It's kind of cool looking, but they're out of
Doesn't sound
stock.
bad. That does sound bad.
It's not ideal.
So yeah, good times. Good times.
Hey, I like that.
But anyway,
Good
that's
aside,
just a
good
side
aside.
note that I happened to notice not too long ago, that they were coming up with those guys, and then on top of that,
Is this like last time when they're like, no, it's coming out in Nitro V, and then almost none of their line does?
and it's 1428 Sandvik. Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait for a Sandvik and Drifter. That's worth the money.
Okay, if they drop the price another $20, then sure, I'll take a 14 Sandvik Drifter. Yeah, I'll take it. But I've already decided I'm going to get a Cogent, so what does that say about me?
All right, let's keep this gravy train rolling. We got to move it along. It's almost 8:15 here. So,
Oof.
All right. I guess that makes me next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think I can guess what it is, but it's
It's green.
yeah, it sure is. It sure is. Here you go.
So I don't think this is going to come as any surprise to anybody,
Dun dun
Out there.
dun.
but it is in fact my Artisan Tomahawk folder.
Yeah, it's a
And
shame.
Not for the reason that you might think. I mean, there's
Really?
a couple reasons.
I was. Can we be more specific? Yeah.
So this knife is ridiculous, and I love it for that ridiculousness. It is loud and just kind of obnoxious, and I dig it. But things that I'm not super keen on, it's not a swastika, but I don't want to have to explain that to somebody. You know what I mean? In fact, it bothered me enough that I put it on the back of the knife, so that I wouldn't have to look at it all the time. And with just a plain silver pivot, it looks great. Just give me 2 of those. So that's kind of small complaint number 1. The main crux of my complaint, the main reason why I'm disappointed with this knife, is I have disassembled and reassembled and disassembled and reassembled and disassembled and reassembled this knife 5 or 6 times to get the pivot locked down. And ultimately, I don't think it's physically possible for me to do, because there seems to be a defect with the female end of the pivot.
Yeah.
The threads are cut really, really shallowly. And I soaked it in rubbing alcohol to get rid of any kind of oils altogether, and re-Loctited it. And I'm hoping that finally will hold it in place. but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to try and warranty it with Artisan. And I hope I don't have to go through that to deal with it, because I don't want to have to mail my knife to China to get it figured out. Especially when all it takes is me just send me this one part and I can fix it.
And I'll just throw it out there, comment in the chats if you, or in the comments below, whatever, of this video, if you dealt with Artisan's warranty process. Be curious to know what Paul's in for on that one. But yeah,
What?
good times. Good times.
What? Huh?
I said make in the comments if they've dealt with Artisan to make it easier for you, you son of a bitch.
Oh, sorry. I was reading the comments.
You're here. You're live. Come on. Come on.
Mead to you.
So, yes.
Absolutely.
I agree. And knowing what some of these have looked like out of box compared to what you've had to clean them out and the gunk and the Artisan has not necessarily wowed me in their department.
No.
Even their new AR RMP9 steel that is supposedly this new fancy super steel is really kind of a meh kind of steel more than anything else. I don't know, VG10-ish at best.
I was going to say VG10, 14C Sandvik.
Not as impact resistant as 14C.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
I was thinking just in its like edge holding abilities.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I had a thought. It really seems like their new steel, seeing as it's it's the powdered version of the 9CR, it reminds me of the relationship between D2 and CPM D2, or 154 CM and CPM 154. Like, practically speaking, there's not a lot of difference to speak of. Like, you might see some improved toughness between the two, but the actual edge performance of the corrosion resistance is essentially the same. And they made such a huge deal out of it. They tried to hype it with the marketing, and I don't know. I feel like that kind of fell flat. But as far as your reasoning for this pick, I agree 1,000%. Of all the things you picked up this year, that's the most disappointing.
Yeah. There is one other thing with it, too, that is kind of a pain in the ass for me as a guy that likes flippers, is you put this really nice polish on this knife, and you made a really round flipper tab, and you have a pretty strong detent. So it's real easy, if you're not careful, of slipping off the pivot or the flipper. And
dry firing, so to speak.
Dry firing, so to speak. And it hurts my fingy when I do it.
So you get dry finger. You don't want to be getting dry finger.
No, you really don't. I have to say, though, aesthetically, this is probably one of the more interesting knives you've bought.
That's why I like it so much. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I want to make it more ridiculous. I still want to take that backspacer out and re-anodize it to match the pivot.
The collar.
With the pocket clip as well.
Right.
It needs to be more obnoxious. Buys a crap knife, gets upset his knife is crap. Brilliant. Yeah. Hello.
It had pretty colors on it, Fisk. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
the machining, aside from the pivot, seems to be decent, but
I like this color ano so much that it's making me look at other knives in this exact same color
that you probably wouldn't have looked at before. You mean, or
well, that I looked at before and I was like, yeah, that's okay. And now I'm like, no, I like that in person. I want more of that. Specifically, what's the kind of hawkbelly one from
Best Tech?
the Ivy.
The Ivy.
Yeah.
That
one's a cool looking knife.
Yeah, that designer is on my radar. The guy that I can't remember his name, he's making the Tulip and the Ivy, and there's 2 or 3 now. That
hell.
Yes, that
Same
guy
guy that designed my Quark.
Oh, really? Well, you can't knock them all out of the park. So it's
well, some of them are so damn small, you just can't build the momentum, right?
Mr.
Don't get me wrong. If you look at the Tulip, it's like a folding version of his Quark, but there's a little more there to it. Like it's
It's a nice color. It's a
I have
nice
a
color.
purse in that color.
Apparently, Mr. Fisk's wife has a purse in that color. So
It's a nice color.
apparently, you need to buy her a knife, bro.
There it are.
So the other funny thing as well as we were talking about it, one of my purchases for 2021 as well, that was just kind of a mixed in the pile, was actually the fixed bladed version of this knife. And I
That's
picked that up
nice.
along the way. And I gotta say, for half to 2/3 the price of the folder, I would take the fixed blade with D2 as far as a big fat chopper any day of the week over your folder for more money.
If you hadn't decided to take that one home, I probably would have.
Yeah. I
Sounds
understand.
about right.
But I'm just saying, out of the two options of Tomahawks, I think there's actually like a no contest there. That the fixed blade, you could probably go out and have some fun with.
I mean, it doesn't hold an edge worth shit, but the Damascus sure is pretty.
Well, sometimes you just got.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say sometimes you just need to get distracted by tinsel, and that's yeah. Tis the season, right? So yeah.
But
Tis the season.
I say that carrying mostly like S90 and 20 CV and things like that. So
Funny that you pulled out the Artisan Centauri there briefly, as far as an Artisan knife goes and purchases for 2021.
Yep.
We'll talk about that. Like as far as things that are in the pile, but as soon as you pulled that up, I'm like, Artisan's coming out to play a couple times, whether they like it or not.
potentially.
Or not.
Potentially.
Well, they're the lowlights for this year, so
Well, here, how about we rag on a different knife? A knife by a company we're used to ragging on.
Apparently, Fisk's wife has a M4 bailout, so I think she's set.
can that?
I think
Does
Dennis
it
has
match
a
her
recurve.
purse?
Yeah, you can send me hers. I'll do it to hers as well, free of charge. You bet. Yeah, it's gonna come back like a Razel.
Just a vest, right?
No.
Just in the Tanto.
Just make it look like a Kirby Lambert design. Just recurve it to hell.
But keep the Tanto tip.
Yes.
Hawkbill Tanto. Like the urban survival from Poker.
Yeah, like that thing.
Oh, artistic liberties, you say? Oh yes, there will be. There will be.
There you go. So yeah, it's like there's a lot of things that I like about this knife, but I have genuinely thought about like trying to cut in a jimp or two on the flipper.
A jimp. Yeah.
Just one jimp.
Sometimes you just got to cut a jump. It's.
Oh god, I didn't like the sound of that.
I think you just can hear out Joe's life.
I don't think PETA should be after that one, but I don't honestly know at this point. It's maybe they might be mad at us for that
They're
one.
known to get mad about the silliest of things, so let's be honest. They're coming for you.
Oh, they are. And if not, they will.
Oh, Fisk, I just read that comment. You almost got me to do a spit take. She's already working on the Razel tip. She stabbed a marble countertop.
Ouch.
That's not what you want.
Like what? Like Lynn Thompson, like on purpose, doing like a knifey spoony with her
What's
fingers.
that game called?
It's not mumbly peg. It's what the fuck is it?
Mumbly peg.
What's-
No, but that's just a great word.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is.
I can't remember, but like the stabbing through the gaps. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we all know. We all know.
I assume that's exactly what she was doing.
On marble,
On
obviously.
marble, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. That was
So yeah, that's Joe. You're left.
Right. My bottom of the barrel.
remnants.
And you know what? Bottom of the barrel for a number of different reasons, but it could be summarized as one thing and one thing only. It was made at the direction of CRKT. So what does that tell you?
Well, that just tells me you need to stop buying CRKTs for God's
I'll
sakes, man.
never stop. I'll never stop buying CRKTs.
I don't know
They've-
what else I can tell you at this point. It just
they've-
hurts. It just
they've-
hurts.
They've pigeonholed
like-
me, man.
This is like going back to your abusive ex or something, Joe. Like, learn your lesson already.
Just can't keep watching you do this to yourself, man.
Yeah, bruh.
Don't you see you're tearing this knife channel apart buying all these fucking CRKTs? You stupid bastard. No,
Yeah. I need more meat.
I like CRKT. I like what they do. I like what they do a lot. I was super excited when they made one of my favorite designs from them, the crossbones, into a limited edition. I was very mega super excited to get one in hand and actually buy it. And I don't actually regret the purchasing decision, but this is without a doubt the biggest letdown of 2021 in terms of knife purchases for me. First and foremost, I don't know for sure if it was Lion Steel who was the OEM for, or MKM, or who the hell did the frame lock on this guy. But there were two issues. And I apologize I don't have photos. I had to hastily take these right before the stream because none of my other ones worked. But there was a ton of flashing on the frame lock, and I call it flashing for want of a better term, but a bunch of upturned bits of titanium, which really have no place on a frame lock. And I wonder if this is going to turn up okay with a light. You can kind of see the rough cut. Shabazz is a decent disassembly.
Meh.
Yeah. Anyway, the high points on here actually are like bent over and just kind of crappy looking. I cleaned up most of them with a tiny diamond file, but the fact that they're there at all is just super disappointing. More importantly, this thing has lock slip. Not enough to disengage the knife, but if I press the back of the spine, actually, hey, you know what? It's the same. We're on a theme tonight. It's the same issue that plagues this guy. If you press the back of the spine, you can actually get the knife to slip in its lock slightly. Enough to hear it.
Definitely instills confidence in the tool you're using.
Yeah. Now, I have actually pressed quite hard on this with my fingers out of the way. I've even done like spine wax and stuff. I'm like, if this is going to fail, I'm just going to make it fail now, and then I will actually harass the RKT about like refunding me or something, because like this is stupid. But the lock is reliable. The action is still actually pretty good. I'm not going to say amazing, but it's still pretty good. I still like this because the overall profile when this thing is open is just stupid comfortable and really nice to use. I like thin titanium frame locks like my Voking. Like, it fits that same sort of bill. Had this been available before the Voking to me, I probably would have just gone with this and be done with it. But
I mean, I like Quakens. There's no reason why I wouldn't like this.
yeah.
So, and Dick Richards, I don't know if you've got one of the limited titanium version crossbones or if you just have the aluminum handle, but yeah, we've played with them both. The aluminum handle liner lock actually has better action than the frame lock, in my opinion. Significantly, significantly better.
Are we not going to
it's
discuss just how sharp the lip of that lock bar is?
Oh, yeah. So about that, my fingers are sufficiently calloused that they're not like getting torn up as easily now. But upon flipping this, these edges in here really scrape the shit out of your finger. And it's not like the edge isn't broken; it's just not broken enough.
Oh, are you talking about the inside of the lock bar?
I
that
sure
too.
am.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say this, and then that side of the lock bar, it bites.
That lock bar is redonkulous.
Yeah, like this torn up callus is all because of playing with this knife over the last week.
Well, I mean, you had to make up for it. You haven't carried a Gale Bradley in the last little while, so you had to carry something to rip the shit out of your hand for a bit.
That
You're
was
not
the
wrong.
thing that really killed the Gale Bradley 1 and or 2 for me.
Still a hella knife. Still a hella knife.
Yeah, absolutely. But it did not spark joy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand. And how's the M390 on it?
It actually performs really well. It's not super thin behind the edge, but that was the other thing. The profile that this thing came with was bullshit, so I had to resharpen it, like before I could really use it for much of anything.
And that was part of what I was getting at for that one, for
Yeah,
sure. Is
yeah.
factory edge, I'm guessing, was to CRKT specs, not whichever Italian maker made it.
Well, here's the other piss off. My Oz 8 version with the aluminum handles, that was half the price of this thing, actually came from factory with a better edge. That being said, the heat treatment on it, I think, is still not great. It doesn't hold an edge particularly well, even for Oz 8. But the M390 on the limited version is actually, it's just as good as my Voking. It's just as good as my my 707 from ZT. Like it seems to hold up. It's not as slicey as some of those other knives, but it's a decent working knife. Like, this is honestly the biggest disappointment because there's so much that I really love about this knife, and there's so much that I really don't like about this knife. I feel conflicted carrying it, which is irritating because I feel that way a lot about carrying CRKT products these days.
So Fisk GB2 sold 5 of them. Toxic Girlfriend equivalent for the GB2. The GB1 was just as bad. But yeah,
I don't carry my
and
GB2
especially
anymore.
especially for the money on this one, this was not a cheap knife.
No.
For sure for you. So when it comes to an investment and a letdown, I can understand it.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, they went with the same kind of lanyard tube as the carbon fiber bug out. That makes me sad.
Well, the custom Crossbones does the same thing, I think.
That's fair.
But the custom Crossbones also is not a fucking frame lock, so so I was like the original version is a liner. The custom version is a liner. They're all liners. This is the first frame lock version of the Crossbones, and I really wish they stuck with the liner.
Yeah, I agree, Paul. The lanyard, like the rustic Gent, would have been nicer than this, but it's going true to form on Ken Onion or Jeff Park or whoever. Yeah. Sorry, it wasn't a stylist. I got confused there for a second.
Yep.
Not to be confused with the CEO.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Rogers. So do we want to keep this train moving? We're going to hustle her along. It's 8:30.
I think so.
I'm not going first this time because screw you guys. So.
Oh, for voting again. Yeah.
Oh, voting wise, out of these 3?
Yeah.
What was yours? A Tomahawk? I'd still take mine. Runner up and first place. The Appalachian Drifter still wins out of this group of bag of tricks.
That's
if I had to take that Appalachian Drifter or my Tomahawk, are we talking about in a world where I can get the pivot replaced easily or not?
I don't know. You make those calls.
If I can get it replaced easily.
No, you live in a world where you still don't know what the warranty is.
I do know what the warranty is, but I got to send it back, and I don't want to do that.
So you have to live with it the way it is.
Shipping.
You can change the color on the Drifter, but you can't change the pivot on the Tomahawk.
That sounds like a really butchered saying.
Touche, you got me there.
That's one of the reasons it was lowest of the low is you're scared of dealing with the warranty after sign-up sheets and cards and stuff. It was a factor, so to be a low. Yeah.
Well, and my original thought was just to send an email, and that's what I'm going to do. But after reading that, I'm a little bit more apprehensive about how that email is going to be handled.
And all the guys watching, same thing. Out of the 3, what would you pick? Sabenza 21s are not an option. Neither is the dagger at the beginning of the episode. So, Joe, what would you pick?
As much as I like the Crossbones design, I don't know if I'd be willing to spend the money on it again, just given all the shortcomings it has. But if my option is a Drifter that doesn't close when you flick it shut, and an Artisan cutlery with a pivot that's all fucked up, I don't know. I guess I would take the Appalachian, but only because. See, even then, I'm conflicted.
Least bad of the 3.
It's the least bad of the 3, but only because the blade is so amazingly thin and it's hollow grind. Honestly, that's the one reason.
why I didn't even hesitate out of those 3 knives. Like, it's still the best of all 3, even though it was my least fall in love with pick this year. So the other thing is playing with right hand only carry, and I have been rocking it right hand only carry. There's a lot of big contenders nowadays in the right hand only carry category when it comes to my personal collection. Yeah, we've thrown half a dozen knives the last year or so into a right hand carry option.
Absolutely. Ben is asking in chat, is none of the above an option?
If you're a coward.
All
It's fine,
right.
it's fine, it's fine. You
I'll
don't-
go with there, apparently.
Let's go with Joe's answer on that one. Yeah, for sure. So,
Sorry.
You're not sorry.
I'm a little sorry. I'm about halfway sorry. I haven't called anyone a coward in the last 48 hours, and it needed to be done.
Do you have a quota?
I was going to say, I think
yes.
we need to talk about what goes on when I'm not at work. Jesus Christ.
Court mandated, unfortunately. Yeah. So do we want to move on to runner-ups since we're pushing a little bit for time here?
We sure are. Let's do it.
Who wants to go first?
Not me. I said, not me.
Who's on first?
I'll go first.
All right.
This one might surprise you.
Will it?
I think it will.
I'm going to guess we already brought it up in conversation once already.
You think?
Yeah, I do. What is it?
Joe?
Yeah.
It's like an Appalachian Drifter 2, but better.
You're damn right it is. Yeah. It's up on screen now.
Pena X Series. Runner up.
Was that a 2021?
It was this summer, I thought.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about.
I'm pretty sure if it doesn't.
Yeah, it was a 2021 because Nigel's also got the Rogers custom at the same time. Yeah. So
as far as the Appalachian Drifter 2, this is by far the better option. But much more expensive, much more difficult to get your hands on. Pena X Series, clip point with shred carbon fiber and titanium. This thing is awesome. It is a great knife, and I am devaluing it daily, almost, by carrying it as often as I have been. I specifically took it out of my pocket to give other things a chance, and I put it in my pocket for Christmas, and it's riding dirty again for a little while at least, because it's so awesome. And it doesn't look like it would be a very good cutter. Like it's kind of thick behind the edge if you look at it and stuff, but she's a slicey bitch. She cuts you.
I think you let me cut down a box with it once, and I seem to remember quite liking it for that. Yeah.
Yeah. It weirds me out that there's a nail nick in it, and I think that's just a style point, quite honestly, because it looks like it deserves it. But it's one of the only front flippers that I can top flip comfortably.
Yep.
And,
Although, after playing with the Eidolon, I'd say that companies are getting better at that.
Absolutely.
Which also leads us back to the Appalachian Drifter 2. If it's got a similar action than with a top flipper.
We'll have to see. We'll have to
Yeah.
see.
There's
I'll play
something
with
to be
Paul's
said-
after he's disappointed with it. It'll be fun. Yeah.
I can't flip that left-handed. Who am I kidding? There's something to be said about both profiles. I really like that with the really sharp clip. But there's just something that's just old school, kind of every pocket knife my dad had when I was growing up kind of thing that this is.
Tends to emulate. Yeah,
If you hadn't kept stealing them and selling them for drugs, it was every pocket knife that he had. So I'm guessing that.
I mean,
you do what you have to.
Tough times.
No, it's weird because I have a lot of my dad's knives in my collection, but I never sold any.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you pay back favors.
Mr. Fisk just noticed the Morgan silver dollar in the snow. So that silver conducts heat pretty well. It froze to that bench for a while. I actually forgot that it was there, and I went back inside for at least an hour.
Oh my goodness. Good times. Yeah.
And then walked out and popped it off.
What knife did you use to pop it off? Yeah. Because if you're gonna get silver residue on any of your knives, it may as well be a fucking Adamas.
It's the knife that I'm gonna fuck around with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I gotcha.
I wasn't gonna use one of my fancy daggers that I had with me.
You should have though. Should have used two daggers and just kind of.
I don't want to scratch that shit.
That's the runner-up that intrigues me on what number one was. That intrigues me. Yeah, for sure. If that's the runner-up.
No kidding. No kidding.
I think you're gonna be upset with me.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. There you go.
Maybe not.
Fisk
though.
said it before I did. You used a knife
to pry a Morgan dollar. Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't unsubscribe, Fisk, I will. Seriously.
It's around in my pocket.
At least he didn't use a lighter on the Morgan dollar to heat it up.
Heat it up. You see, didn't use a lighter on the knife to heat up.
I like my Morgan dollar a lot. Mr. Fisk is upset because he's the one that gave it to me.
I'm fully aware of the backstory.
I'm also aware.
I'm giving the backstory to everybody else out there that might watch this at some point.
I see.
But yeah, no, it rides in the pocket a lot.
The only issue with using a torch is you'd be worried about oxidizing the surface a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it can happen if you're not careful. So
just unfollowed him on Instagram.
If it wasn't like an already old coin and whatever else, I had thought about like using some gun blue or something on it and making it just like dark, and then polishing the high points. But I would do that with a new coin way faster than I'd do it with something that's actually got some age on it.
Yeah, because you need to strip it first, and yeah.
Anyway, knives, you say? Jesus Christ, you people!
Yeah.
Goddamn hippies. And Dick Richards is right. Just bring some warm water out. That's the right answer.
Not frozen. Like I wasn't out there for very long. It was. Just
I wasn't prying for very long. It's.
It was more of a like quick jab.
So what I'm hearing is you took your knife, stabbed it through the silver dollar, and then wrenched it sideways out of the right. Like that's what I'm visualizing.
Twisted it, and then popped it.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That tracks.
What
was your runner-up?
Yeah, okay. So runner-up, you say knives. Jesus Christ, get back on topic, you sons of bitches.
Oh,
how many minutes into it? It's no joke that we've already gone an hour and a half, and we're not even into our finals. God damn it!
This normally happens when we do these.
The Gonzo episodes are Gonzo indeed.
Who next?
So runner-up.
Dennis next.
Guess it's me. Joe just decided.
Well, we're keeping the order the same every time. It'd be weird to switch it now. I can go next, but
I said screw that. He already went for his favorite. I'm not first. Paul already went. I was first last time. We've already screwed the order up. All right, Joe, go. Change it up. That's right, son of a bitch.
Fine. My runner-up. Oh, God. Here we go. How many file folders can I possibly have open at once? Don't answer that.
I'm going to go with 37.
You're not far off. Load, you son of a bitch. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so my runner-up. My second favorite for the entire year. It's really only in the runner-up position for two reasons. It's my isotope. Playing dirty. It's the same photo I showed you earlier. Again, I was having technical difficulties. Otherwise, I actually had a specific photo for this.
The render, right. The render.
Yeah, the render one. Yeah.
The
15 shadows minutes. On it really do look fake.
That's weird. Well, okay. Well, if you don't believe me, here's the real thing.
No,
I'll draw some blood. No, it's... yeah. I never thought I'd have the chance to buy one of these in Canada. It utilizes probably my favorite opening method, tiny corner flipper. It's fantastic. It's some of my favorite materials. Carbon fiber and M390. Like, and titanium. Yeah, it's hard to go wrong. So, yeah. Oh, and it's a 4-inch blade. It's kind of ridiculous. I love this thing.
We're going to see about a honeymoon phase after it's all said and done.
The honeymoon phase is one reason this is a runner-up. Just because I haven't had it long enough and haven't carrying it consistently enough for me to definitively say that this would be my top pick. So I'm giving a little bit of allowance for that.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's the material in the inlay?
It is carbon fiber, but it's end cut. So you're looking at the stacked layers in the photo.
It used to be rosewood.
I've seen it. I've seen that look before and really enjoyed it in a knife. And not to say that I don't enjoy it here, but it seems much more subtle in this instance.
It's super subtle. I'm not usually one for like garishly flashy knives, but I do kind of wish this would have been like a shred carbon fiber or something else. But I know they did a bunch of different options available as well. But these were the options
the Black
available.
Talon too doesn't like garish.
Yeah, because but I'm talking about the handle materials, man. Like,
okay.
Yeah. No, the shape is absolutely stupid on this thing. Yeah, like it's ridiculous for sure. But
would you prefer this knife with regular carbon fiber?
Like with like what you would see on I don't know, literally anything else in my collection, like kind of like that.
Checkered, yeah, and no, I would not.
I like the uniqueness of this. I don't own anything else with a cross cut or end cut rather. I don't see it done very frequently, and having since done searches for this particular cut of material, both in carbon fiber and micarta for my own projects, a little harder to come by. So I don't know. The exclusivity is definitely kind of nice.
Carbon fiber that's got to be stacked like that thick, right? Like,
yeah,
it can't be something that's everywhere.
It's no joke to get material done up like that. Plus, having all the grain, as it were, running along the line of the knife. That's just a nice use of material. It's subtle, but I like it a whole bunch. My only real complaint is that this is the only place where there's an inlay. I really would have liked to have seen one back here, or maybe not on the back strap, but definitely on this side. But it's such a
game plan.
Well, it's such a minor complaint that I love this thing. Yeah.
Symmetry would have been nice, but this thing does look pretty good. This thing has grown on me as you've been carrying it, if I'm being honest. It wasn't something that I loved at first.
It's a horrible knife. It's horrible.
So lefty Dennis can't open this worth a fuck because he keeps pinning it. Left-handed going to open this, he's pinning the lock bar every time he goes to open.
Although Spidey flicking it, I will give you credit that that's not hard with the
No, but I mean the groove is only on one side because reasons. Apparently, some of his newer models, some of them have the groove on both sides. Aesthetically, I prefer it this way only because it makes this side look a little bit more busy, just with the lack of the inlay. But in terms of utility, I really would have liked to have seen that groove on the opposite side as well. But whatever. Again, not the end of any worlds. And for those curious, manufactured by Best Tech, they're doing crazy shit these days.
Well, Fisk is commenting in chat that the 5-year-old that made that did an awesome job. And look, if I could do that at 5.
Sure, if you mean the 5-year-old mini Haas they were using. Hey, if a 5-year-old child could make something
come
like
on.
that, it's cool. Outdated, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Samsung or Xiaomi are making better stuff these days, but who knows?
All right, yeah, that's a good choice. That's a runner-up though, and that's only because of the honeymoon phase, which is fair. But it's a nice knife, even though it was made by Best Tech.
Even though.
What about you? Well, you fella.
So again, a surprise with all of the big contenders that are out there. Thug didn't make it. What else is on the list, right? There was a bunch of fun stuff this year, but something that has been on my wish list for a while and just became like one of my most carried knives this year in particular. And just recently got an upgraded variant that is just like the ultimate knife. You could never really like say anything else. It's the K390 Dragonfly, like with the G10. It's my hybrid. Yeah. So this guy gets runner up.
Is
That's
it
fair.
patinaing already?
Oh yeah, deep patina. Yeah,
Dude,
you can see the purples. Yeah.
I just zoomed in on the photo here. It'll turn up for you.
Yeah, we got a nice purple going on the patina for sure. Yeah.
It's
Into
nice.
it.
That's what happens with steak and sour cream. Yeah, for sure. So
Absolutely.
not on sour cream on steak. That was on my potatoes, just for the record. Learn how to make a stuffed potato, you heathens. Come on. But yes, it's, and part of it as well is things that have made me happy this year. And that's what I like based a lot of my choices off of, was just pure enjoyment. What this knife means, and especially with the K390 version, my girlfriend and like my stepdaughter like getting a new one, and we all have the same ones. I just posted it for a New Year's Eve post. Just makes me happy, a whole bunch of it that I never thought I would ever say about. But yeah, we're jamming real good. It's one tasty jam, so to speak, as far as the Dragonfly world. And for a watch pocket, a shorts knife, pajama, like straight up pajama pants is like the Dragonfly gets thrown in there, and it's a sweet knife to use. Yeah.
It annoys the ever-loving fuck out of me that I have to buy 2 knives to get that knife.
Okay, that's my theme. If you haven't noticed over the last couple years that the only knife you can get is the knife that's been hybrided to make me happy. Yeah.
Absolutely. I just the G10 is so nice on that Dragonfly, and I wish they would just have other offerings in that platform.
And the only other option that I really liked that was better than the green G10 one was the Sprint Run that had the wood handle with the HAP 40.
Yeah.
And the wood handle was pretty sweet, but HAP 40, yeah, it was an exclusive, and what do you do? How do you get it? That type of thing, right? So, but yeah, this knife has been carried with me every day since I bought it, and swapped it with my girlfriend with S30. And there hasn't been a day, whether it's camping, whether it's backcountry, whether it's hunting, the Dragonfly has been carried with me every single day, long since the honeymoon phase. Yeah, Fisk, you bet, man. Lots has changed. Not necessarily official stepdaughter, but I mean, the family is growing, and I'm a happy guy because of it. Yeah, we're doing fun things.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. So when I put up the post yesterday about the Thank You 2021, I don't care what has happened in this world. My own personal world has been fantastic for the year of 2021. And those moments are going to keep coming. So, and that's why Dragonfly gets a special place in my heart, and there's none of you sons of bitches that can change my mind about it out of everything that I bought this year. Cause there was some fancy shit that went down this year as far as me adding to the collection. Right. So
Your
it was, thing that you enjoy the most.
look, and even if we were to bitch about it from a practicality standpoint or a collector standpoint, K390 is a hell of a steal, man. Like, and in a Dragonfly
is a hell of a knife.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Even my S30 version was being a lot of fun. So and Fisk, thanks, man. Congrats, indeed. Like it's I said, it's been a good year, and it's going to keep on getting better. So we're having a lot of fun with it, and we're going to keep posting pictures about us having fun. So
you're gonna have to keep posting pictures of that patina as it develops.
Yeah. Well, and the trio of Dragonflies, like I said, stepdaughter's just getting into learning about knives. She can use them in the kitchen real good. It's that lockback that might be giving her a wrench in the works. I think it scares her more than it actually should, but we're bringing it out. Oh, and on the lovely note, the beautiful moments, Fisk wants to see the kitten. So everyone can go twice in a row.
I'll actually grab a cat here. Just hold on.
I'll grab a cat like you love it. And for the record, between girlfriend, 9-year-old daughter, 2 female kittens that are sisters, and an 11-year-old female dog named Cheyenne, I'm so outnumbered. It's unbelievable. Cheyenne's a little rough and tumble though. She's on my side. It's the dog, me and her. We're like, yeah, she's got my back.
Okay.
Oh, here you go, Fisk. There you go.
So this is she. She's
She
very
has
sleepy.
no idea what she's looking at right now.
No. She's very into screens though. Was playing Back for Blood in front of her the other day, and she liked the explosions. That's for sure. Her name is Midna. She's adorable, and now she's gonna hang out in my sweater while we do the rest of the stream.
Yeah.
Because that's the right place to be.
And probably fall immediately asleep because she's one sleepy kitty.
Yes. I'll try and keep her in view, but yeah. She's falling asleep again.
Yeah, she's pretty adorable, dude. Like, it's, yeah. I can't wait for in 6 months when she starts knocking shit all over the place.
What do you mean?
God.
What? It's happening already.
Oh, she hasn't got the aerial abilities. I'm sure Fisk can go in depth about how much fun young cats are.
We are preparing for her to be able to jump a lot higher than she can already, but let's just say that she nearly took out my 3D printer the other day, and that thing is probably about 3.5, 4 feet tall. So, and it's on a desk. Yeah.
So she's
When you start leaping onto refrigerators, you're like, "Oh, you're a full-grown cat now." Jesus, like it's yeah.
Fisk, I'll have to send you pictures later. She's adorable, but she only has 2 modes: stop and go. And her father was a Maine Coon, so she's got big fucking slappers. We're expecting her to get huge. So
big fucking slappers.
Dude, her mitt,
that
unbelievable.
can be taken a lot of ways.
Yeah. She's got the murder mittens, does she?
Oh, she does. Like her back paws especially, they look too big for her body. It's like, oh, you're gonna be trouble.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, let's keep this train rolling. Runner up is that the end of the runner ups? Yeah. Okay.
That
winner,
is,
winner,
yeah.
chicken dinner. What do you got, Polly Paul?
Polly Paul.
Polly
That's
Paul.
right.
I have a Kyber dagger.
Oh,
the wee one, number 1.
Yep.
we're not even voting anymore. Okay.
Okay. We could do a vote. Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
all right.
I didn't even think about that either. So I was just trying to keep the train moving.
No, it's okay.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I can't see any of us voting for anything other than our own items. Am I wrong with
Yeah,
that?
no, honestly, like I wouldn't take a Pena over my Dragonfly. I don't care how much they're
No.
worth. Yeah.
I agree.
I think it would be weird if I owned your Dragonfly.
I wouldn't put a Nero over my Dragonfly. That's how much like I could sell it and actually build my own Dragonfly again and have money on top of that, and I still wouldn't do it. So it's
Okay, fair enough. Voting not necessary.
Man, your knife sucks, dude. I just sell it for the money. That's all I'd sell it
But that being said,
for a
Paul,
lefty. Anyway, yeah.
you did
Like-
do the reveal.
Over there. That was weird. Yeah. The old Kyber daggery-doo.
That was a good out of left field purchase, eh?
Oh, as far as just like sheer enjoyment, the amount of time that I have spent in this exact position, just kind of like this, I don't use this knife for much of anything, except for carrying it around because it looks pretty. I basically have carried it as a piece of jewelry, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for the record, complete side note, just because Dick Richard is purring in the bushes and it's a cougar about to attack or a jungle cat. Jungle cats I would be more concerned about, but look up the statistics on fatalities from cougars and adult males 18 to 65. Might surprise you. I have a 0% chance of dying, my friend. 0%. And I've lived through scratches before. Like, it's... So, anyway, Kyber dagger, you say, speaking of scratches. Italian style bushcraft. If you hear purring in the bushes, it's just Paul about to get it on with a dagger.
Oh, all right.
As far as no, don't fucking way. Says
We've
it in
all
fine
seen-
print.
We've all seen 7. It's fine. Anyway. So yeah.
This knife is as old as I am, if not older. And
What were you saying? 78 to 83? I think we dabbled on it on a couple episodes ago. Yeah.
76 to 83.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So chances are it is older than you are. There's a good chance.
Both of these daggers, quite honestly, are in fantastic condition. And I like both of them a lot. But as far as like overall aesthetic, as like looking at it as a piece of art, this knife, there's few things that I can think to change on this knife. It just...
Yeah, it's cool. It's super cool part of history for sure. And like what K-Bar did to keep themselves going, outsourcing. K-Bar's been outsourcing since the wars, right? Like Camillus, Western, Bowie knife. Did Buck make K-Bars at one point in time? I can't remember if they did or not. Camillus did. Western Company did. Then there's 2 other companies. 4 knives made for K-Bar. Apparently 5 if you go through the history, because Kyber's in that list somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting.
I will say that I did actually, in looking this knife up for last week, I did see one with a pearl handle inlay instead of the white paper micarta. And there is a certain amount of just like pimpy goodness with the entire mother of pearl handle.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
I mean, you could bushcraft real good, like with the pearl handle.
You just apply some,
Just put some skateboard tape on.
All right, so you're number one, and not expensive. Not an expensive purchase for a number one.
$70. The ratio of sheer enjoyment to dollars spent, I can't even describe. I don't even know if I'm going to bother. Like, neither one of these knives are terribly sharp. I don't know if I'm going to bother putting an edge on them.
Yeah, no, even my Bark River dagger that I got, that whatever type of thing, which isn't as old or as cool, historical, whatever type of thing as this thing, I didn't bother. It is what it is, and it's just a cool piece, right? It's not like you're EDCing edge retention on blah, blah, blah type of. Speaking of which, what are we thinking this is? Oz 6?
I believe it's Oz 6.
Yeah. I think we kind of tracked down that there's a like good 75-80% chance that this thing's made out of Oz 6. Yeah.
And if not,
the gentleman that made it, I think, worked in Oz 6, like not exclusively, but
in like literally a factory called Oz 6. It was, yeah.
Weird times.
There's another factory called Oz 8 and a new one called Oz 10. It's a new factory. It's pretty fancy. They got high state-of-the-art shit.
Is Oz 8A across the street from Oz 8?
It's one of those side streets. For sure it is. Yeah, undoubtedly. So, and Oz 4, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's where the tsunami hit. It's not even around anymore. Like,
I'm being asked if I use the dagger to pry the coin. No.
And no, but it's funny because it would hurt your feelings and Fisk's at the same time to do that. Yeah. All right, let's keep this final train rolling. Sorry, Paul, before we continue on, I know we're running a little late, but what was some big highlights in between? The Artisan Cutlery Centauri was one of them, but what didn't make the cut either way?
Didn't make the cut. The 2 biggest notable standouts, I think, are the Centauri. It didn't make the cut just because the VT10 Damascus is only kind of meh, okay. It's gorgeous to look at, but it doesn't hold an edge for terribly long.
And the action on the Centauri is pretty damn good. Like, it's, yeah.
It really is. It's as bad as the Tomahawk is, the Centauri makes up for it.
You guys keep waxing poetic for a minute. I think my cat needs to eat.
He's chewing.
I'm the only one that's home, and she's crying at shit, so I'll be right back.
Chewing at the air.
Adamas was another one that was high on that list as far as...
Yeah, that's fair. It's Joe's turn to go first. So, for the next place. Now, I'll also say my mini Adamas, spoiler alert, also didn't make the cut, although very good contender. Like as far as happy purchases, yeah, it and the Thug, I think, would have been the ones that I was actually thinking about. But then the more I thought about them, the more things came out into the works as being like, oh yeah, that was a really good purchase there too. And oh yeah, that was a really good purchase. Like, yeah.
I like this knife so much that the idea of like shelling out money to get a Monterey Bay or whoever else is making a Laconico design, shelling out more money, you know what I mean? I would do it in a heartbeat because this form factor, nice wide handle, super narrow. I don't know why, but I dig it.
So Fisk, if we work in a knife store and we're some kind of source, is that the equivalent to you working in a pet store? As far as this, is it as much of a trusted source as we are working in a knife store?
I think in regards to,
I now question both sources.
well, I'm just saying, in regards to feeding a cat, I think I'm going to take him as the de facto source.
And while you guys are all mulling about that, Joe gets to go because it's actually his turn, and I actually have to have a government mandated break here. So back in 2.
Oh, leaving before the reveal. Well, that's okay.
Burr, 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 burr.
Burr, 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 burr. Yes, I do have to feed the kittens. Or kitty. Yeah, so my top pick, I don't think will be much of a surprise to you or to Dennis when he gets back and actually sees it. Be a surprise to me if the photo would load properly. It was highly anticipated. It was something that I had ordered actually prior to 2021, but for various reasons didn't actually get my hands on or fully purchase until just this past year. I'm talking, of course, about the North Arm Knives Skaha 2, which is just barely loaded, but you know what? There's the picture anyway.
So that's top of the heap, eh?
That is top of the heap. So I will say it may not be my favorite knife even in like over everything I own, but as far as purchases for the year, yeah, this is top of the heap. Absolutely. The only reason that I think the Isotope lost out was because it didn't have well, I've had this long enough now, about half a year, that the honeymoon phase is decidedly over, but I still choose to actively carry and use this knife very, very frequently. So
Do
yeah,
you carry it more now that you fixed the pivot?
was going to get into that. Yeah. So that was the one disappointment with this knife, and for Dennis, it was the Skaha 2.
See the picture? I see the picture.
Wasn't sure if it had loaded for you or not. Yeah.
That's all good. It's all good.
So S35 VN done with a 0.1 inch thick blade, which is a 2.54 whatever millimeter thickness. Super thin behind the edge. Well, probably one of my sliciest non-hollow ground knives. The action is probably the nicest, like standard tab flipper action I have. But the pivot, there was an issue with the pivot. And actually, I fixed it by changing the tension on the lock bar. I don't think that it was. It may be that it wasn't tensioned properly out of the factory. And this was an issue that, like, had I just emailed them and sent the knife back, they probably would have fixed it for me without any problems. But I had a sneaking suspicion, and luckily I was correct. My tang wouldn't fully be engaged by the leaf spring, and it was such that I could actually push the liner all the way to the other side of the knife. But since retensioning this, it now locks up reliably at 50% engagement, 100%. The liner's fully engaged, 100%, but it doesn't go much past the beginning of the tang. Anyway, what I'm saying is the issue's fixed. It's awesome. I carry it very frequently. It's Canadian made, so there's a little bit of pride of ownership of like, hey, cool, this is actually from my country of origin. That's nice. Yeah.
What did you do to fix it?
I retensioned the lock bar. So I basically. Oh, hello. She came over to see me, so.
Yeah.
All I did was take the. Yeah, she's interested in flicking knives. That's probably not great. I took the scale off, took the blade out, and with the liner still attached, because they explicitly tell you not to take the liner off. So basically, don't remove the pocket clip because the liner is being held in by that screw. Anyway,
Thanks, South Arm. I appreciate North Arm, whatever.
Yeah,
Non-lefty factor by never being able to take the pocket clip.
Well, no, you can actually order these in the left-hand configuration where they come milled with a clip on the opposite side.
With a right-handed frame lock and a lefty clip.
Or right liner lock, left clip. Yeah.
Okay. Slightly better. Better.
I mean, at least they offer an option. I don't even think it's I don't think it's that much more expensive because all they do is mill in extra stuff on the handle.
Gotcha.
But all I did was retension it with the blade out of position, and I made sure to start the curvature further back. Are you making biscuits? That's adorable. Sorry, talking about the cat again. But yeah, now
Fisk, Ben, Infinite, who's making the biscuits?
Yeah. And doing so adorably.
There better be gravy. That's what
I don't
I'm
want
saying.
my cat better not be making gravy. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, now that I've quote unquote fixed it, it's had absolutely zero problems with blade play, wiggle, anything. For the money I paid for this knife, I'm just blown away with the overall quality of it.
And Fisk has an awesome comment about now waiting 2.5 years for it. I think it's 12 to 14 months. Or is it actually up to over 2 years?
I actually don't know. The only way you'd be able to find out is if you gave them your email.
Added yourself to the list. Yeah.
And then you could inquire about your place in the list after the fact. But when I did mine, I waited 13, 14 months before the order was actually processed, and then it was another month or 2 months before I got the knife.
Made. Yeah.
Which I'm happy to wait, given the limited production capacity. Would have been nice to have it a little sooner.
How many buccarinas?
It was just over 300 all in. Like I think 309 or 301, something like that. Now
of the Canadian,
of the Canadian dollar. I mean, it's a Canadian company. If you want to know the American conversion, Google's your friend. I knew what it's S35. Okay. And that is also for the carbon fiber version. If you got G10, it would have been cheaper. They recently had to raise the price because of the lack of availability of handle materials, is what they're citing. But even so, even adjusting for that, for how nice the knife is, I still think it's worth it.
How many dollars is it now?
I think it's 300 now is the base price. It used to be like 250 or 280 or something like that.
Yeah, 225 back in the day.
Well, that was the Skaha 1.
Gen 1. Yeah.
But I'm not going to complain about a $75 increase from one generation to the next. It's not like they doubled in price or tripled in price.
No, they haven't inflated compared to demand. They've stayed pretty reasonable. So, yeah. Any highlights there, Joe? In between notes between your Skaha and your what was your number runner-up?
The Isotope. Yeah, in between those two.
Oh, honestly, yeah, that one.
Yeah, there's not really, and part of that is because I just don't buy that many knives anymore, like not as much as I used to. I'm a lot more picky now. And it's one thing for me to say, oh, this knife is interesting and it's like, I don't know, $100. Sure, I'll buy it because I want the locking mechanism. Like that's what I did with the Provoke. But I'm not like seriously considering carrying a lot of these things. It's more like, no, I just want an example of that because the mechanism is sweet, or I've never seen that feature done this way before and I want an example of it, and hey, look, it's cheap enough, I can justify it that way.
So even just other things you bought in 2021, the Provoke is one of them.
Yeah, the Provoke is one, and it definitely
and what else did you buy other than the 4 that we listed tonight?
God, not that many. Like I think I got my police secondhand this year.
Yeah, okay.
With the K390, and this was actually really close to almost being a runner-up. Like it gets a lot of use, but see, the thing is, this gets beat out by my military almost all the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the military was something I bought 1.5 years ago, so it's not in the running. So yeah, yeah. Honestly,
I'm looking at Skaha 2s right now, and I'm seeing a price of $265
as a base for G10s and stuff.
In G10, yeah, that's not bad at all.
I thought they were a lot higher. My mistake.
And it might be a matter of when you click on a button, it's like, actually, the price has been increased to X, Y, Z. But on their website, That red is really nice.
Anyway.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, get out your name on a list for a Skaha because the Skaha 2 is significantly better than the Skaha 1. I hadn't played with a number 2 until Joe got his, and I played with one of the OG ones, and the guy was in love with the OG version of it, and I'm like, I don't know, gapping between ball bearings and blah, 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 and there was some things that they definitely evolved on the Skaha 2 that makes the knife significantly nicer, for sure.
Sorry, just 1 sec here.
His goddamn kitten. It's so needy, I tell you.
I'm going to need to manhandle Joe Skaha for a bit. I might have to call it a favor.
So, yeah.
Christmas?
Yeah, maybe. It's a New Year's miracle.
Yeah.
So,
all
right. So, my final choice for this, because we got to get the show on the road. Goddamn, it's a 2-hour special. It's New Year's. We might as well do the countdown to midnight at this point. Jesus Christ, guys. Yeah, I think we should do that next year. Actually, just do a live one until midnight. Why not? That'll be fun. So my number one, things that made me happy throughout the year, and I think I had more enjoyment making this knife happen for me more than anything else. It was really just kind of fun, good times. If Joe hasn't popped the picture up already, sorry, I'm not sure what the holdup is.
I'm waiting to load.
It's 1996. It's just slowly scrolling down the screen. Yeah.
My Skaha picture was doing that earlier. It was kind of bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's my bug out. It's I made this knife happen. Infinite Gunworks. Thanks again. Happy New Year 2022. We're in January 2nd here. Is January 2nd? Yeah. Okay. We're good. I don't know what day it is. It's the holidays. So yeah, it took me, I don't know how many months from the time that we had talked about you buying the carbon fiber one, sitting on that patiently while they delayed the shit out of the aluminum one. Finally came out with the aluminum one. That started my journey. I had barrel spacers coming and going between Jared Kong and several other people. Thumb studs, shout out to Rob. I know he doesn't YouTube very often, but he's a genuine guy and just awesome. He right then and there, he's like, yeah, let's swap them out. You can have some black thumb studs. Here you go. So, yeah, no, it's S90, thin as shit and slicey and super happy with it. So.
As an outside observer, it was an interesting dynamic watching it slowly but surely come together piece by piece.
And even I still don't have pictures of the black barrel spacers, but it does have black barrel spacers. It's blacked out hardware completely. So, Dick Richards, no rush, man. It's we'll get to it. The kitty is so cute. He's trying to attack your face, and
just slap you in the face.
My money's on the cat.
Oh, dude, my hands are all scarred up now because of this little bastard. It's fantastic.
So yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to. We've talked about it several times. It's no re-modified, reground, whatever bailout, but I mean, I don't have to worry about a window punch when I'm closing this one. So
there's that.
Okay, somebody out there in the wide world of the internet has to make a green micarta backspacer that fits a bailout. I don't know who that person is, but somebody out there might. And if you do, please tell me. Yeah. Because I would like to put a green micarta backspacer in my aluminum bailout.
I think I would be happy with a brass one myself. I'd be okay with brass on the green. Yeah.
But green micarta, it's I saw some green micarta Flightanium scales recently for a bug out, and it just kind of clicked over in my brain, and now I want it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know this, and being like interactive with the knife community and like playing around with the guys in the shop, and I don't think anyone was disappointed with the choice. I mean, when we all looked at that black blade with carbon fiber that Infinite Gunworks has now, every time that we're on a Sunday and you're saying, what should you carry? That's the right answer. You should be carrying the carbon fiber and bug out with the M390 black blade. Because goddamn, that's a good looking knife. Like more than the Super Freak, more than your S45 Para 2. Get that right-handed compression lock the fuck out, man. I'm telling you. That's,
Yeah.
Rock scale, apparently titanium smooth. It's on his wife's Razel bailout. It's so.
Yeah, but I don't want titanium. I want micarta.
And it's a blackened titanium. That's not bad. So.
Oh, still good. Still good.
And I guess we'll finish it out just as far as highlights. Holy crap, guys! Like right off the bat, the Thug. Like, how can you not mention? I'm in honeymoon phase right now, but this thing has been right-hand pocket carried more than anything in a long time, since the Rhino, basically. Also, we dabbled on it earlier. Mini Adamas. I got the brown version because me and Paul made a little shift to Rudy so he could get the black one. What else are we going to note? How about Mr. DP Decade Edition? This thing's weird and funky, and I love it. It's fun. Yeah.
That was in my running too.
Oh, your DPX. It was nice. It was a nice knife. Yeah. Rock scale designs. It has some okay stuff, even if he wants to overprice them a little bit. They're probably pretty well made. So, a second mini skirmish. Like, Jesus Christ. I put one of those down on the list for 2021.
The number of people that would kill just to have one.
A ZTU 808 that has a Rocks Valet clip, like it fucking belongs there, gentlemen. Like it belongs there. And I know the KQ pukes in the mouth and so on and so forth, but I still like the Thug, and no matter what Dick Richard says. And lastly but not least, I don't know who remembered about this guy, but it's in the back. I haven't even posted a picture of it, but I got a Woodlander.
Yeah,
that's a weird one.
And as far as a odd Spyderco collector goes, I haven't posted a picture. No one even knows. This is the first time I've actually revealed that I have a Spyderco Woodlander, but I picked this guy up this year. And one of the sole reasons is because it's one of the first knives that I was like, holy cow, what's that? That's pretty awesome. Is this whole series made by Jerry Hossam. But also because literally I could like flip it and triple my money from the moment I bought it type of thing. So for nothing else. Yeah. And we'll deep dive on the Jerry Hossam Woodlander series because there's 4 in that series made by him. N690 Cobalt. I bought a knife with N690 Cobalt. It's
a fixed blade, mind you, in N690 Cobalt.
Yeah, it's not going to be a folder. What, do I look Italian to you? Jesus.
You're not saying enough boppities or boopities, so no.
Boopity boppity.
No, I haven't even said any bobos. But anyway, so.
Terrible.
Oh, Bobo.
So yeah, I think that rounds it out. Out of these 3, I think to finish it off, what would you guys pick? If it's not your own knife, you did things wrong this year?
Yeah, no, I think...
Although my knife is like... Yeah, for your $70 dagger, that's a cool little piece. But good luck trying to create an S90 bug out like the son of a bitch I got on the screen right now. It's fantastic. So
it has inspired me to mess with a bug out, but I don't know if I would necessarily want to go the same route. I kind of want to put some Flytanium scales on it or something.
G10, purple G10 would crossfade, would look okay. And then go from there and then start some purple hardware or some blue hardware or some green hardware and make a Joker knife. You could do things, Paul.
I could just go like brass hardware with the purple and look really classy.
Yeah.
And we won't go into it too deep. We won't go into it too deep this evening, but just something to dabble on, Paul, is just think about mini bug outs and the options that you may or may not have in mini bug outs as well. So
Yeah.
Oh, Dick Richards. Yeah, you want Jerry Hossam. He made 4 of them. Even the small one, I would love to get like the smallest or the second smallest as well. They make a larger one than this. This is the 8-inch blade. I believe they do a 10-inch chopper as well. That was called the Forester. This is the Woodlander. There's a Day Hiker, and there's something else. The Down by the River in the Pale Moonlight. I don't know.
You can absolutely not convince me that that's not a Ken Onion.
Yep.
This guy? No, him and Jerry Hossam had words. They're cool. They're cool. It's like Jim Carrey and Jesus. They had words. They're cool.
You know what?
Watch some documentaries if you don't believe me. Those two gentlemen, they're tight.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. I don't know who has the rights to it, Ed Shemp or Jerry Hossam. I think the Jerry Hossam stuff actually might be older than the Ed Shemp Rock series, Dick. And you're right. There's some crazy similarities between the two, but I actually think these are older.
Well, it's kind of like the Wayne Goddard and the Siren, right? Like, it's just like, that's the same knife. There's a lot of similarities between a lot of different models.
And yeah, I got black backspacers, but you know, every backspacer matters, man. It doesn't matter what color it is. You just gotta love them all.
I hate that you made this knife more boring, and I actually enjoy it this way more than the stock option. Like, it actually kind of really pisses me off.
How good it works together, that if Benchmade had just made this knife, everyone would have been like, yeah, okay, I'll buy that.
Yes.
So, all right, guys. What's that?
The S90 is absolutely that blade profile and S90 go together like.
Well, and the blade profile, even like not to knock Justin's M390, but the polish you could put on the bevel on that and just have it last as far as a light cutting beast goes.
M390.
Yeah, we were talking about sweatpants knives, a carbon fiber with M390, slicey as shit bug out.
Yeah.
Is not a bad option on that. We don't necessarily need to thank the Cutting Edge other than pretty much hooking us up with every knife we have listed on this. So I guess we will thank the Cutting Edge. We also work there. Thanks, guys. I hope it's a rock in 2022 for the company and for us, because that means we get to play with fun new things. Maybe do some disassembly videos on some new products, because I like that idea of 4th camera in the corner type of thing. We'll talk about that more later. But yeah.
Absolutely. Just copying me.
Just a little bit.
Absolutely.
Someone say something about YouTube or Instagram, you sons of
Hey,
bitches.
you should go and follow us on Instagram because Dennis said so.
Did you hear he had a reground bailout? I don't know if you did. It's
kind of big news right now.
it's trending for 2022. Yeah,
reground bailout's so hot right now.
Also on YouTube too, because reasons.
Because during this live stream we lost a viewer. That's why. Jesus Christ.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Fisk. He said so earlier, didn't he?
Not to do deep dive too much, but Jesus Christ.
I unfollowed you, Paul. History will forget your name. I mean, that's probably true.
Well, probably like my Pena Rhino. It's like history will forget it, and Semenza 21 will live forever. Like a Greek god. But anyway, it's also thanks for those who are subscribed on Patreon. Dick Richards resubscribing, Black Frost, so on and so forth. I don't even know if Darren, Ben, I don't know. Anyway, thanks guys, whoever is. If not, go subscribe, because there's going to be a cool thank you and probably more to come, because I might have something to chat about with the boys that are going to probably make more Patreon stuff come up pretty soon. So
good to know.
That is good to know.
All right, 2 hours. Jesus Christ, over 2 hours. 2:15. Happy New Year.
To go and eat butter
Happy
chicken.
goddamn New Year.
2022. We're gonna have probably our top 3 coming up soon as far as the topic goes. Collection update. I don't know when we did it, but I think it was March or April. So that episode's coming up soon. If not, we got some new probably reviews coming up. Maybe a disassembly. We'll see.
I think Joe, because he has access to the YouTubes. would have access to be able to actually narrow that down. Don't you get more information than we do on the outside?
Like the actual upload date.
I think so.
It should be posted on the actual video itself, but if it's not publicly available, then yes, I should be able to see that.
Anyway, good
That's
times.
right.
Good times. Also, SHOT Show. It's like Christmas all over again. New knives coming out. So, all
Yeah,
Couple weeks away.
right, boys.
yeah.
What? Joe, say your piece. God damn
I'm
it.
just gonna say there's maybe a teaser for next week, but certain companies have already started talking about some 2022 shit, and some of it has got me a little bit more excited than I should be.
And then some of them are Spyderco. We'll just figure out which company is which.
It's not Spyderco, actually.
Oh, I love you, Spyderco. Don't get me wrong. I got some serious love in my heart. I just better times. We're looking
Just
for better
remake the
times.
Polywog.
No, come up with something fun and new, like a smock that doesn't take 2 years. Anyway, thanks again for everyone joining us tonight. We will see you again next Sunday here. I am who I am here, gentlemen. I always am. Dennis Vipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
And XL.ca. Is everybody else concerned about the fact that he's always Dennis? I don't know exactly what.
At least on Sundays. At least on Sundays. Like, you guys should know by now, like the Wednesday to Friday category, it's up for grabs on who I am. Like,
Terrifying, but all right.
We just call Pedro on those days.